I saw the West Ham team named at the start of today's game. It was almost like for like, bar one player. The team that started against Everton away from home last month. They drew that game 1-1. I was kind of thinking, oh, they're going back to a back five. They're really going to try and, I suppose, just make it a really difficult defensive game for Liverpool. And it certainly looked like Liverpool were cruising to a win at half time, but wow, we weren't expecting the kind of drama we got in that 2-1 victory for the Merseysiders.
No, the first half was tame, and I don't imagine Graham Potter picked that team and set up a side, whatever work they did during the week, to play the way they did in the first half, where they were kind of pinned back around the edge of their own box. They weren't getting battered, but they were very little possession. Couple of breakouts, Wan-Bissaka's ball in for Salah, couple of little things down the left hand side once or twice, and then the corner kick late on that Mavropanos should have scored a header. But other than that, it was all Liverpool. It was a totally different second half, where West Ham came out and played and showed the ability they had. Back five pushed up a bit. Wan-Bissaka moved over onto the left-hand side. Soufal come in, and they got the midfield players into the game. They all have real quality and ability on the ball, but we didn't see that in the first half. Second half was lovely combination plays, real technical quality from Paqueta in particular. Kudos come into the game. Jared Bowen started getting a few balls in behind, and in fairness, I thought they earned the goal, be it was an OG by Van Dijk from Wan-Bissaka's cutback, but there were several other opportunities that they didn't take, where the goalkeeper did well. Alisson big save in the 1v1 with Bowen, and but then Liverpool did their stuff at the end, and it was an extraordinary win at the end, given that the goal came so late for West Ham, and Liverpool had put on Endo to shut up shop and taken off Salah. But they went on. It didn't matter what the 11 players were on the pitch. Their determination and drive, and the crowd getting behind them. Crowd were kind of narked by the idea West Ham scored and drove them on. They got the corner kick, and they made use of that, the great ball in. McAllister, where the area corners, it was always a West Ham header getting to his, sometimes Paqueta in the near post, sometimes Kilman or Mavropanos, but he just got a little bit of space in behind. Full Creek, great header, and 2-1 victory, and all the more special because it came so late in those circumstances.
Yeah, and you kind of look ahead to the next two games because they need 2 wins now, or 6 points, to seal the title. They're away to Leicester next week, and then it's home to Tottenham. Yourself and Nathan will be at Anfield for that game. Do you think the manner in which, like, I'd almost say Slot would prefer to take the 3 points in the manner they did, rather than kind of seeing out a 1-0 victory, because you'd feel the manner of the win today is the kind of thing that will maybe inspire the team to victory over the next 2 matches?
I think my manager's point of view, you'd always like to win the game comfortably, and if it was 1-0 comfortably and you don't concede, then you kind of go, right, it was great, we weren't great in the second half, but we won the match. To concede the goal so late, he wouldn't have enjoyed that, given how poor they were defensively last week at Fulham, and the way they conceded the goals, which were some individual errors, some collective errors. All started with, remember, the crossfield ball from Andy Robertson into the midfield, trying to play. I'm not sure who he was trying to pick out, Curtis Jones on the other side of the pitch, and led to a kind of a catalogue of errors for the Fulham goal. And then there was more errors for the second and third goals. So I think they would have liked to get a clean sheet and win comfortably today. But West Ham didn't do that. West Ham weren't allowing that to happen and had a right go. So I'm not sure how. I think the manager would have felt, right, great, we won it. I would have liked him to be more comfortable. But from a crowd point of view and the drama point of view, and the West Ham supporters going to the match, I'm sure they enjoyed their efforts. They wouldn't have enjoyed the absolute outcome, but they would have enjoyed scoring the goal and that little spell when they were level, and only it was a very short time. But Liverpool, they got the job done. As I said in the commentary, that's what champions do. Often you see a match might be drifting away, or you're going to drop points, and they find a way to pull it out of the bag, and that's what Liverpool did today in the end.
Looking ahead to next season, Van Dijk expected to sign that new contract this week, coming after Mo Salah. You know, he's a fair old age now, 33 now, and Andy Robertson
In June.
sorry, and Andy Robertson as well on the wrong side of 30. Just based on what we've seen the last couple of games, including today, the OG, the cock up there today, some mistakes last week. Is there any reason for Liverpool supporters maybe to be worried about that left-hand side of defence for next season?
In terms of whether someone else comes in and plays instead of Van Dijk, I wouldn't think so. I think
But
Van
just
Dijk.
that maybe
Yeah,
those two players could be an issue.
well, there may have been complacency, has crept in for Liverpool in recent weeks. I mean, they lost they lost the cup game to Plymouth. It's a while back now. But they lost the Champions League game, which was a big blow, losing at home to PSG. They lost the Fulham game. What was the other one? They lost another game. In around
Newcastle in the cup final.
Newcastle in the
League
cup
cup final.
final, of course. So they lost a few games, and yet it appeared from Arsenal's new objective is to try and win the Champions League. But Arsenal's form has kind of been mixed, and the draw last week and the draw this week kind of lulled them into a sense of, we have the League won, and their attitude wasn't good enough last week against Fulham. So I think that complacency may have even come to Van Dijk as well as Andy Robertson. I'd be less critical of Jones playing the full back position because he doesn't play there so often. But I'm sure they might want to get another player. I mean, you have to remember Gomez has been out for most of the season, and he was playing very well when he was getting the go. Equally, Quansah has looked the player when he's played, but he's been injured as well. Trent's been injured, but they've overcome all that and been very comfortable. And you would say the pairing has been the best centre half pairing in the league, probably just ahead of the Notts Forest pair. Arsenal's two have been broken up with an injury as well to Gabriel. So I don't see that as being a problem for them. I would think they would be looking at signing 2 or 3 key players, probably 3 key players, probably one in each main area of the pitch. They've got a goalkeeper coming in, the Georgian goalkeeper coming in who they'd already signed. They left out on loan. He'll be coming back instead of Queevy and probably go. But I see a centre half, an additional midfield player and a main man centre forward. I see those the sort of players that sign. They have the adaptable players for the right back position. We've seen the quality of Bradley. They've got Gomez as cover for there and Quansah as well. So not a huge pressure on them for that position, but probably one player in each position will add a little bit more competition.
Just to touch on West Ham, have you seen enough of how they've played under Graham Potter for West Ham supporters to be optimistic for next season? Like, he is playing largely with the Yul and Lopetegui squad. Has he done enough, do you think, to see the board back him with a bit of money in the summer and to maybe give West Ham supporters hope that they will not be in the bottom half of the table next season?
I don't think it's gone great for Graham Potter. He obviously wanted to change the style, I think, of how the team played a bit, probably with bringing a little bit more patience into the game and less reliance on, deep defence, compact midfield, pace up front. I think, and a big strong man as a centre forward. I think you want to bring a bit more control through the midfield area. So I don't think that's been successful for them so far. But I think looking at the performance in the second half today, you can see where he has quality within that squad. I think he'll want to bring in some players that he feels will play the game the way he wants to play it. I think last year's signings haven't proved to be maybe to give West Ham the push up to him. I mean, they finished 9th last year, which was really a high finishing place for West Ham. But they've gone back this year, you'd have to say, and it wasn't a successful season for them. Now they're just playing her out, really, but they won't be under pressure about relegation. But there's still every place to get up the table is, I think it's about 2 million or 2.5 million. So they should want to finish a bit higher than they are. The position they're in at the moment is a lot worse than what they would have expected. But I don't know what we're going to see in West Ham next year. I think we knew what we were going to get when David Moyes was the manager, but I don't know what we're going to get with Graham Potter. And I think the stadium isn't great for them. I think the distance, they've got massive crowds, 60,000 people, but they're a very, I'd say, nearly a Mounty crowd. They're easy to they get easily frustrated in getting the players' backs, and I don't think it's a great advantage to them. I don't think any opposition team go there saying, "Oh, this is the most hostile place in the world, and we'll be under pressure here today." I think the distance from the pitch is a factor in making away teams feel comfortable, and hence their home record isn't very good.
Just finally, at West Ham, Evan Ferguson again, unused substitute as he was last week against Bournemouth. Like, a lot of people kind of going, well, they're not too sure now about Evan Ferguson, but like, I think back to that from an Irish perspective anyway, a famous night of Match of the Day when Alan Shearer did a big analysis when he had that brilliant performance for Brighton against Newcastle, and he was lauding Evan Ferguson, saying he hadn't seen a striker as good as this in a long time. We know he's got the ability, we know he's got the talent. What do you think is holding him back now, and would you be hopeful that he might be in a better place next season?
I think you left out one word when you were talking about Shearer there. Was a young striker as good as this, and that's what he is. He's still a young lad who had a marvellous breakthrough. Who was prolific in the underage teams, and then got into the first team and made a breakthrough and scored goals. And now he's had, I think, a couple of difficult seasons really. And this season particularly so. He's had a lot of injuries as well. He's had a lot of injury problems. We don't know what his level of fitness is, but it hasn't been helped by the fact he's not got much playing time at West Ham. But you have to earn that playing time. I mean, Graham Potter isn't there to kind of be charitable to a lad who did well for him at Brighton. His job is to get points for West Ham, and he's under pressure. His supporters and the staff and the ownership are demanding better results. So unfortunately, Evan hasn't done it when he's got on the pitch. He's missed a few chances. He's not got much time on the pitch. He's looked quite good when he played for Ireland. Scored a very good goal against Bulgaria, and he needs playing time. I don't think he's going to get it, West Ham. Now that Fulkrug is fit and he scored that massive goal last week. Bowen looked well today. Kudos played well in the second half. You can see why he's not getting a start. So between now and the end of the season, he's probably not going to get a lot of playing time. Can't blame West Ham on that. You've got to, as I said, you've got to earn it, and he hasn't done enough. You're going to get time for Ireland. Ireland are going to have, I think, 4 games at the end of the season. So we've got some strange games: Senegal and Luxembourg. Yeah. Is that the 2 games? And we why am I thinking 4 games? They're the 2 June games. Yeah. I imagine he's going to get playing time in those. He needs it. And then hopefully wherever he ends up at the start of the next season is back in Brighton, that he gets a fresh start pre-season, competes for a striker's place with Welbeck and Pedro probably for one of the front 2 positions at Brighton, or else goes somewhere where he's going to get playing, but he's got to be fit and sharp and hit the ground running in the pre-season, I'd say, at the start of 25-26 season.
Cheers, Brian.
Thanks, Stephen. Great game. Great day.